correct me if I'm wrong, doesn't Bravely Default do that as well? Don't they
Yes,
incentivize playing the demo? And it's but
right,
at
right.
least there, like that's a unique kind of experience created.
Yeah, another
Um,
example of brilliant marketing and strategy for that. So yeah, they give you this free. I guess what they released was kind of like the prologue for the full game. It
okay,
was
that's
it was the ground zeros to the Phantom Pain. Uh,
right.
so you get this unique little story, and then any items and stuff that you build up, you can carry with you to the full game. So I really hope more developers and studios will start to use that and kind of copy that model because it's great for them, and I think it's great for players. Because you get something like you try out their game stuff and you do get a little something for it. It doesn't need to be something huge.
Right.
But yeah, you get a little something for playing and taking your time to do it. And then all of a sudden, when that game comes out, you'll remember, oh yeah, I get this free thing. I get this free thing if I go out and buy that game. So yeah, maybe I will go ahead and pick it up. So I'm sold. I love that strategy. I love the game. And I can't wait for it. Supposedly it's going to be 2016. I guess we'll find out at E3.
Hopefully we will find out at E3. Yeah, I am not a Souls player. I had a brief,
But I think you could be.
No, no, no. I know. And- okay, so there. Oh man, I forget when this happened, but there was a point where either a demo or Dark Souls 1 was made free on PS Plus, or maybe it was a demo or a trial through Plus, something like that, where I tried that on PS3. And I spent maybe only 20 minutes with Souls 1. And I had that experience that I know everyone else does, but
I
I
see.
didn't know what everyone else learns later. Is that
Uh-huh.
if you stick with it, it'll click, and then you'll have fun with the game. Instead, like, I mean, I knew it wasn't God of War,
Mhm.
right? I knew I wasn't gonna like run in there, swords swinging, but I'm a player who doesn't really like repetition through a campaign. Part of the reason why some like Metroidvania games haven't stuck with me too well is because of that. I just don't like running through the same area, fighting the
Backtrack.
same guys. Yeah, I don't like backtracking. Which I mean, you could claim it's a little ironic since I really like multiplayer games, and those are entirely built on playing the exact same map with the same loadout. But I think there is definitely a level of spontaneity and improvisation that comes from playing competitively, online, whether
Mhm.
it's Call of Duty or Halo or Rocket League or whatever it is that you're playing. And to me, that's the difference. Yeah, the map can look the same, but I play it differently. I approach it differently, or
Yeah.
maybe the encounters will be different. And like in a single player story, let's say, that isn't always the case, especially in a game that punishes you really early on.
Yeah.
And like I feel bad now looking back on it because I fell victim to Souls.
Mm.
It was like, you know what? Like I think it was not the first enemy, but the second one that just owned me. And it wasn't funny. I didn't have fun with it. I wasn't laughing. I was just going, no, thank you. I my blood pressure can't take this kind of stress. I'm not. Um, and so I
So
was completely.
Souls turned you into Boogie 2988 with your console. You smashed it.
Yeah, yeah, basically. And so like all of these games that have come out, now we're up to Dark Souls 3, which came out recently, and Bloodborne, which Bloodborne always interested me a little bit more than Dark Souls just because the aesthetic was different.
Yeah.
It was more of like a Van Helsing, Victorian, whatever it is.
Yeah, totally understand. Because yeah, for me it was this. It pulled me in as well because I was like, oh my god, Dark Souls, but it's Castlevania.
Oh yeah, exactly. So I thought that was interesting, even though I didn't play or I haven't played Bloodborne yet. Let me change how I speak about Bloodborne because now, after my time spent with Neo, I am now I get it. And the same thing happened. I tried out Neo. I downloaded it the beta, the demo beta. Anyway, same thing. I downloaded the beta like the day it came out, and I tried it late that night. And I played, and I knew going in, okay, I just gotta I gotta stick with it. I know it's gonna kick my ass a little bit, but that's okay. That's part of the process. We're gonna have fun. And I played a half hour, got past that first guy right off the beach, on the left past the first shrine, and he's crouched there by the hut. And I run up there, and it's okay, so he kills me immediately. I'm okay. So I try it again. I finally kill him. All right, okay. So I go up this trail right past him, and then on the right there are two other guys around a campfire, and then another little hut with a treasure chest inside. And so I run up to them, and naturally, the game is trying to teach you, now here's a 2v1 encounter. I run up there, die immediately. Okay, all right. So then I do it again. And this time, when I respawned, I decided to avoid them. I'm like, you know what? Let me just see how far I can go. So I just avoided the combat, and I tried to make my way through the little windy path into that first little town area. Nope. Absolutely not. Suddenly it's 3v1, 4v1. I didn't even know what happened before I died. And so that first experience, I'm 25 minutes in or half hour in, I'm like, you know what? No, I'm not doing this.
If I can stop you, Derrick, I'll let you jump back. Before I forget, that is one of the things that I really did like about Neo, because it kept me from cheesing the game. So in Bloodborne, there were ways that you could, I cheese the enemies. So I would go up onto a bridge, and there'd be one of these giant werewolf things. I'll figure it out that I can lead him down the stairs away from the bridge into this little house, but he can't get through the doorway. So he'll just be sitting there running at me, stuck on the doorway, and I can just sit there and just, hack and slash him until he's dead and he can't touch. Well, I mean, he'll get his arm through occasionally, but yeah, he's stuck on the door. I thought maybe I could try that with Neo. So I was like, oh, maybe I'll just find a way to pull these guys and lure them away. Maybe they'll stop. Nope. They do not stop following you. They chase your ass down. And you can't another thing that you could do in Bloodborne was say if there was I don't know. I remember one of the bosses, there was a small little circle of rocks with some plants in it. And I could keep him on the other side of that circle, and my weapons were long enough where I could just keep doing damage to him, but stay on the other side of this little rock formation so he couldn't get to me, and I would just circle around. But you can't do that stuff with Neo. If you're by the wall, there's instance where you can swing and your weapon will hit the wall. And you can't attack them on the other side of something. You can't attack them through walls. So they clean that up. So there's significantly less cheesy. I'm sure there'll be some way to do it, but I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, no, it's a game that basically tells you, get good.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and not even get good quickly. It's just get good or you can't play.
Mm-hmm.
And so after my initial experience with Neo, I talked to you about it briefly because you had asked me had I played it yet, because you hadn't. And I was like, yeah, I played it, but it's not really for me. And you were like, oh please, just play it, just stop it, and get good, basically. So I tried it again, and I really started understanding how you're supposed to play this type of game, because I had played Ninja Gaiden back in the day, back on Xbox,
right?
The original Xbox One, not the new Xbox One. And same kind of thing. I had fun with that. I was a fan of Dead or Alive. Played it with some friends. I think it was Dead or Alive 2 on which launched with PS2. I think that was it. Maybe that was Dead or Alive 1. I'm not entirely sure. So I was already a fan of Team Ninja, and it's oh yeah, they're doing this action game. Oh great. So I played that because you recognize the characters and it's fun. And again, it kicks your ass very early on. That first boss battle, you'll know whether or not you can keep with the game. So like ever since then, I've kind of had this little aversion to Souls types games or Gaiden type games. So anyway, I stuck with Neo. I really learned how the combat worked, how the mechanics worked, how the timing worked, and always keeping your eye on your stamina bar.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And once you get like a different weapon, like once you get the big axe or the hammer, and once you get like some more armor, and you don't feel like you're gonna get one hit every time you turn a corner.
Yeah.
Once you can like kind of fight a little bit, where you can fail for a second without the risk of dying. Like then I kind of got into it, and I was able to clear out that first area to the next shrine. Not pretty easily, but I didn't struggle with it. I never died again. Which I felt like I try not to be the player who's like, oh, I keep dying. I hate this game. Even though like it's very easy.
Yeah.
Especially online. You play shooters online, and there are a lot of very good players. And if you're learning a game, it can be kind of a trial by fire.
Oh yeah.
What was it? There was oh man, Warhawk on PS3 was that game, where I swear it took hours just to learn how to play the game. Because there was I think there was a training mode, but there wasn't like a campaign. So it's all multiplayer, and you're just being thrown in with all these people who've been playing for a while. At least when I got the game, it had already been out for a couple months. So, like the learning curve was really steep.
Yeah.
But then once it all clicks, like you're just a terror in the sky, and it's awesome, and it's worth learning. And I think that a game like Warhawk, just like the Souls games and Neo specifically, like it is worth, if you've ever been frustrated like I have trying to make your way through these types of games, they are worth the pain. To play.
That's what's so great is you have this serious sense of accomplishment that I've not seen a lot in a lot of the modern games, especially like modern AAA games. There's a sense of accomplishment when you do get better, when you do make it to that next candle or lamp or shrine or whatever.
Yeah.
And I think it's just that the game doesn't hold your hand, and so many games nowadays do. They just hold your hand, they make it easy, like it's more about just kind of going through the experience, and that's good and fine, but like, man, when I first really gave into Bloodborne, and you just, it kind of takes you back to Nintendo, like those old games, which when I have kids one day, I'm totally going to raise them on that to teach them the hard way. It kind of makes you feel like that, like where these games are hard. Like and I think a Bloodborne and those kind of games are very much like this, very much like those old games where you got to be good. Like it's a lot of skill, and once you learn and once you get good, then like Castlevania you can beat in like 2 hours, like on NES. But you gotta slowly increase in skill, get a little bit better, learn that timing, learn how to control the movement and the character and your weapon, the distance. And so Bloodborne and Neo and the Souls games, like they kind of take me back to that, which I really, really, really love. And yeah, the sense of accomplishment when it does click and when you do get to that next shrine and stuff like that. Yeah, I absolutely love it.
I agree, because right now, especially the last few years, with like the rise of mobile replacing, so many other types of games, or just not even replacing, but becoming such a dominant force in the marketplace. Like Wii, the original Wii was a console, designed for a time where iPhones didn't exist. And that's why like a unique control scheme with the motion controller really kind of hooked audiences. And it's that audience, like the Nintendo DS did that as well, offering a second screen and a touch screen and all that. And a huge chunk of Nintendo's market like moved on to iPhone gaming and tablet gaming and all that. And I think right now, since